So we're going to go ahead and get started. Even though sometimes it can be hard to learn Tai Chi online, we can do a lot of exercises from Tai Chi online that are going to improve our stability and mobility of our joints. Thanks everybody for jumping in. Let's go ahead and start doing some movement. And Tai Chi conditioning is all about creating more elastic, mobile but stable joints. So we're going to start with our spine and just turn both sides. What I want you to do in all of these exercises is not only turn as far as you can go, but try to stay integrated. So in other words, connecting to your center. So even when you're as far away as you can go, you feel nice and strong and balanced. You're not just twisting or going to extreme end range, but nice and balanced at the end. Come to the other side, twist, nice and balanced on both sides. Good. And let's do a little bit of warming up for our hips. Use a chair or a wall for balance. Big circle of the leg. Do a little bit of a single leg squat in the standing side. I'm going to turn around so you can, I'll tell you when to switch directions. Go at your own pace. I want you to squat down as you go big circle. Stand up, squat down, go big circle. Try to keep this knee-hip alignment just like we were before. Go about 10 more seconds on this direction. Should be getting some work in the standing leg now as you're going up and down, or maybe some work in the standing hip as you're balancing. And then try the other direction. So it's totally okay here. I'm starting to work this side. Feel free to use a chair, something for balance. You can see I'm going up and down, sitting in that hip. Should feel some work, but in this other hip, feeling nice and loose. Go 10 more seconds. Try to keep this knee going straight out over the toe. Reaching your toe out. Good, and relax. Maybe shake that leg out, relax that leg, and then let's do the other side. So this is how we're building stability in this joint. We're building stability in this leg. We're building mobility in this leg by doing a big circle with our toe as big as you can. Stand up, single leg squat, big circle, stand up. And I'll tell you when to switch directions. Starting to do a little bit more active in our leg. And then switch directions, big circle, a little bit of a single leg squat, big circle, starting to warm up our hips, and relax. Okay, so what I want you to do is, for these next two, focus on what your elbows are doing. The elbows are, if you think about moving your elbows, that's a good way to move your shoulders, actually. The elbows kind of control the shoulder. If you think about lifting my elbow, you can see I'm moving my shoulder. If you take your elbow forward or your elbow back, you can say that's using your shoulders. So we're going to warm up our shoulders by thinking about our elbow. And what I want you to do is take your elbow across your body as much as you can. Reach it to one side. You feel a little stretch kind of behind your shoulder. And then I want you to go the other side. So just go back and forth, stretching behind your shoulder. It's okay to get a little bit of rounding in your back. I'm going to turn this way so you can see the elbow goes across, a little bit of bend. And then what you can add is, as this one comes up, the other elbow is going to come up and go across back. So now I'm doing like this Egyptian dance or something. Elbows are going to switch. That's going to stretch a little bit my rotator cuff. And you should feel a nice opening in your upper back as you kind of spring from one side to the other. Both elbows are kind of up, a little bit of stretch to the shoulder joint. This is where we talked about at the beginning, not needing to be super loose, but actually having some integration, so feeling nice and strong in all the aspects. You can go slower if you want to feel that, or if you want to work a little bit harder, you can almost imagine like you're moving through water, through gel, and you're pushing past the resistance, spring, pushing past. I'm getting a little bit of stretch in my shoulders, but actually I'm getting some strengthening as well. I can feel those muscles working. And then what I want you to do is now we're going to work a little bit lower down the back. Now I want you to reach up and down. So I'm going to reach up and down as I twist. And then I'm just going to go to the other side, reach up and down as I twist. Now I'm going to straighten my elbow and think about pulling my elbow diagonally up to the corner, just like we sometimes do with our regular stretch. And then this elbow goes down to that corner. relax, stretch. So here it's okay to get a little bit of a side bend and rotate. So you see how I'm bending to the side and reaching down, bending to the side and reaching down. You should feel this stretch kind of all the way from your fingers to your lower back on both sides. Now warming up our shoulders and our lower back at the same time. And relax. Good, nice job. Good, we're gonna come back and do some more shoulders in a moment, but let's first do another warm up and opening the hips. Now, some of you who have done Tai Chi before already know and love this movement, but some of you are new and you're gonna love it soon, which is a hip shifting and turning. So I'm gonna take one foot in front of the other. You can see how my mat is kind of straight forward. I have a little bit of space in my legs. Front toe is facing towards the front. Back toe is kind of facing off a little bit 45. Don't be both on one side, but you don't need to be totally wide either, just like a comfortable stance. And then I want you to take your hips and move them onto your front foot. So it's almost like I was gonna stand on one foot in the front, and you can even come to standing on one foot in the front if you want, or just back foot is just relaxing on the ground. And then I want you to come and sit on your back foot. So you see I have to shift and turn. Notice my hip goes back, not straight up and down, pressing through my knee, but straight back. You feel almost stretching your back hip here. If you want, you can take off that front foot, come back, shift and turn on the front. Notice I'm coming down. You can try taking off that back foot. So again, exercise class, so we can work a little bit harder. Go ahead. And if you want to work a little bit harder, I'm going to turn this way so you can see. If you want to work that a little bit harder, you can go a little bit wider stance. So I'm staying down and then come back. See how I'm sitting in my hip? Or if you want to not necessarily work harder, but just work on your mobility in your hips more, you can come closer and just focus on that turning. And you should feel a little stretch in your hip each time. I'm going to show you this way so you can see. Now I'm not working as hard, just focusing on the turning. Do 10 more seconds here, whichever one that you like. And again, you can go, you don't have to do quick. You can go slow enough, should feel nice and grounded and strong the whole time. And then I want you to switch stance, come to the other foot in front. So find first grounded, hands can go on your hips, feel your hips point forwards, shift your weight on your front foot. That back foot can leave on the ground if you like, or you can experiment with picking it up. Knee stays over your middle toe. Sit on your back foot. Remember, we want to feel nice and strong, nice and balanced. Sit on your front foot. Sit on your back foot. I'm just lifting my feet up so I can demo. That's 2. But you don't have to lift your foot up, but you can. Or remember the other options is to go a little bit deeper and a little bit harder. This is 4. Or another option is to go a little bit closer and just work a little bit more stretch. And 4 more. And 10. Good, nice job. And we're gonna do some Tai Chi exercise for the shoulder, but I'll give you the option to make them harder than we sometimes usually do, and it's conditioning. So the first thing I want you to do is just come to a forward stance and let that arm swing. Fluid between the shoulder, using the sway of your hips to move the shoulder just like we did the ankle. Or if you want to start working a little bit harder in your shoulder stabilizer muscles, you can actually grab a weight, and we've done this actually before, just letting that traction come in the shoulder or letting that shoulder pull out. We've done this before. This is an exercise, a traction exercise from physiotherapy, but it's also something that we've been using for hundreds of years in Tai Chi to create openness and stability in the shoulder stabilizer muscles. And then from there, nice and easy swing. Stay connected to your center. Don't let it be totally spaghetti, but connected to your core strength. Use your core to start lifting your arm in a circle. If you can, come to that same sitting on the front foot that we did before, same sitting on the back foot that we did before. So I'm lifting my foot up so you can see I'm sitting in one foot. You don't have to do that. You can stay on both. You can work harder by coming into a deeper stance, or you can work a little bit less hard, but you're still sitting in one foot and the other. 2 more. And there's nothing wrong with not doing this with a weight. Let's go to the other side now, other direction circle. This is what we've done before. Try to keep the shoulder nice and open. Use your core to move the arm, so not just totally flopping. Go slow enough. No problem with doing this with just your arm. You can still get work and openness in the shoulder joint. But obviously you use the heavy weights working pretty hard, and that's okay as long as we're staying nice and long and connected to the center. 2 more. And good. Relax. Nice. Now we're going to go to the other side. Either do, again, we can do the same, you can do the weight, or you can do no weight. Just let your arms start to slosh. Go slow enough that you can let your arm relax. At the beginning, especially this forward and backward, you should really be feeling nice, smooth, open shoulder, just like we did the ankle. And you should be feeling this traction of this pulling out, relaxing. This pulling out is what lets the deltoid relax and puts the weight on our rotator cuff, which one of the roles of the rotator cuff is to hold that humerus in the socket. So when you have that weight or just the weight in your arm, you're pulling it out of the socket, you're stimulating that rotator cuff. If you go too fast or have too much weight, then you have to hold it up in. The deltoid's working. It's not as much rotator cuff. Let's go big circle. Same thing we do your circle. Try to almost reach your hand away from you the whole time. Sitting in each hip, just like we did before. You can really focus on your hip turn if you want here. Just like we did before. Remember, I came up on one foot. That's totally an option. Knee goes right over your middle toes. 2 more. And last one. Good. And then try to go to the other side. And remember, reaching, almost like you're reaching your hand away from you. Three more. And one more. Good, nice job, relax. Okay, set your weights down, you're using them. Now come back to a neutral stance, let the arms swing one way and the other. We're just gonna relax them here for a moment, and then we're gonna make this a little bit harder. So we did this before, so I want you to kind of connect to this exercise that we've done before, and then we're gonna make it a little bit harder. Remember we did reaching with the tree like this way, and then we did this circle back, reaching with it like hugging a big tree on this side, or just reaching the arms forward. So you're feeling that spinal rotation, spinal twist, arms reaching forward and backward, maybe a little bit of work for the shoulders, but just relaxing them. It's okay if the hips turn a little bit, but definitely make sure you get a nice turn in your rib cage and keeping your back nice and straight without overarching your back, reaching the fingertips forward and backward. We're just using this to work up to the next one. Let's do a couple forward circles the same way. If you want to work a little bit harder, you can engage your glutes, standing nice and straight or tall, engage your transverse abdominis, breathe into your rib cage in all directions, reach your rib cage up and reach your fingertips away from each other. That's going to be harder. I'm reaching my fingertips away from each other, reach the back of my top of the head up, expanding my rib cage in all directions, a little bit of abdominal compression, a little bit of glute activation. That's going to be a little bit harder. You don't have to do all that, but do try to keep your back up straight and shoulders nice and open. 2 more forward circles. Good, and then let your arms fall down. Turn back to straight. Now reach to the other side, just like we did. Turn to the straight. Good. Now what I want you to do is turn to the other side, reach forward and backward. As you come down to fall straight, I want you to squat. And then come up, go to the other side. Don't let your knees come. So we've been working a lot of this hip stability. So here we're gonna go up and down in our legs. You're gonna have to really watch you're not doing this. Okay? Knees and even hips can stay toward the front if you want. A little bit of hip turn's okay. Definitely do that rib cage turn. Down squat, you can go nice and slow, up turn. So this is actually now very similar to this one we've been working on with our 2-arm swing that we were working on. But I want you to see that it's very similar. It's just I'm standing up, breathing into my rib cage, turning side to side. Breathe out, relax, squat down. Breathe in, engage your glutes, pressing up. Breathe in your core, engage your transverse abdominis, come up. Breathe out. And I know it's not so much work in the legs, but we're going to make it harder for the legs. But I want you to feel this good posture first and this easy arm swing up and down. And then take a moment, just feel the body, bring the pelvis straight up. Maybe let the shoulders relax, maybe shake out the shoulders, maybe shake out the legs, go a couple of down, up and down once or twice. Maybe go on one side, maybe go on the other. Try to just feel how the body feels. And then as soon as you're ready, stand nice and straight up and just work a little bit your posture. You can think about breathing in your rib cage all directions. You can think about your shoulders coming up, out, and then relaxing. You can think about pulling the tailbone towards the ground slightly. If you're like want to be like this, might be a little bit active in your hips. They're keeping you up. That's okay. Nice and easy breathing, and then noticing how the body feels. And try just for a moment to push away any thoughts and just focus on how the body feels. Move around, grab a drink of water. So that's great. We have 3 classes that are coming up that are being planned for studio members, for Platinum members. 3 other Zoom classes coming up. One of them is going to be a Tai Chi conditioning class, which is going to focus, like we did today, conditioning, stabilizing, mobilizing, and elasticity training, exactly like this. So I wanted to give you a little taste of that, and also obviously some relaxation is good at the end. I also wanted to give people time to ask me questions if you have. So I know some people need to go, so let's do the clap, and then if people need questions, they can. Let's do hands up.